Hello, I'm Avis Kalfsbeck, and this is the Peace is Here podcast. Welcome to Peacewarts, School of Peacecraft and Inquiry, where we practice the skills of peace through short daily classes. We take the peace work seriously, but not ourselves. If you're joining us mid-school year, you're not late. Orientation begins at episode 198. Welcome back, Peace Scholars. We are in the Department of Living Roots in the garden. Today we are standing near the heavy iron gates. We often think of war as a loud, explosive event, the sound of steel and fire, but there is a silent form of warfare that is arguably more devastating because it targets the very foundation of the law of return. It is the use of hunger as a weapon. In the Department of Living Roots, we teach that a society's peace treaty is only as strong as its calorie security. When a power center decides to break that treaty, they don't always send soldiers. Sometimes they simply stop the flow of life. Food is a weapon. It is now a principal tool in our negotiating kit. These were the words of Earl Butz, the U.S. Secretary of Agriculture in 1974. The concept, the silent siege. Our lesson today is about identifying manufactured famine. We must learn to recognize when a food shortage is actually a tactical siege designed to force a population into submission. We define this as the intentional breaking of the local biological record. When we destroy the soil's ability to feed a people or prevent the seeds from reaching the furrow, we are committing an act of total extraction that can take generations to repair. The history, man-made famine, and the soft weapon. The most devastating example of this is the Holodomor, the Great Famine of 1932 to 1933 in the Soviet Republic of Ukraine. This was not caused by a crop failure. It was the deliberate policy enacted by Joseph Stalin and the Soviet government. To fund rapid industrialization, the Soviet state mandated the collectivization of all farms. In Ukraine, the breadbasket of Europe, the government set impossible grain quotas. When the peasants could not meet them, Stalin's government enacted the law of 5 ears of grain, where anyone, even a child caught taking a few stalks from their own field, could be shot or imprisoned. In the winter of 1932, the Soviet government blacklisted hundreds of Ukrainian villages, physically blockading them so no food could enter and no people could leave. While the 3.9 million people starved to death in the Black Earth regions of Ukraine, the Soviet Union continued to export millions of tons of grain to the West to buy machinery. This was a war of logistics against a specific ethnic and social class. In the period we call the Great Disarmament, there was a complex attempt to turn this weapon into a tool for peace. The Food for Peace program, or Public Law 480, was expanded significantly in the 1960s. While it saved lives by using American agricultural surplus to help developing nations, peace scholars must perform a power audit on this history. By making other nations dependent on grain imports, it essentially disarmed their local agricultural sovereignty. If a nation moved against the peace treaty of the superpower, the food could be slowed or stopped. This is the soft weapon of the 20th century, peace through dependency. The thesis, the calorie valve. The lesson for today is that logistics is a moral choice. Today, we see manufactured famine in the form of port blockades and the destruction of energy infrastructure. Because modern farming is so dependent on dual-use chemicals and diesel, you don't need to burn the fields to create a famine anymore. You only need to stop the trucks. When we see famine conditions in modern conflict zones, we must look at the mapping of the shipping lanes. If the calories aren't moving, it is almost always because someone has put a hand on the valve. In the Department of Living Roots, we believe that true peace requires a system where hunger can never be used as a lever. We teach that food security is not found in a global supply chain, but in the stubborn local practice of the law of return. Sovereignty of the dinner table is the ultimate deterrent against the silent siege. Your homework. 1. Look up the Holodomor and read the causes section to understand how government policy, not weather, created the famine. 2. Write down one question about any of this episode's topics. If you don't have a question, write no question. 3. Optional. Journal for 5 minutes about the concept of calorie leverage. How does it feel to realize that your own food security might be tied to a global logistical valve? As you leave the garden today, think about the worm. The worm is the ultimate survivalist because it doesn't rely on a global supply chain. It finds its calories in the local waste. Until our next class, keep your feet in the living roots. Class dismissed. Thank you for listening. If you'd like to support the Pieces Here podcast, the most helpful way is to follow it wherever you're listening. It helps share the message with others. You can also support this piecework at my Patreon for $4 a month, about what a used paperback goes for these days. Just go to Patreon at patreon.com/Avis Kalfsbeck. That's AVISKALFSBEEK. My most recent book is Mana Mutante, a best friend eco-fiction novella about food systems, featuring Tilly, Camas, Pedro, and the rest of the gang. It's book 6 in the Pedro the Water Dog Saves the Planet series and is available wherever you buy books. You can find all of my peace projects and stay in touch at aviskalfsbeck.com. Music is by Javier Peque Rodriguez. Sound effects are from Pixabay. Regarding peace, we need not delay or despair. We are not late. We are right on time to love. We are all scholars of peace. Listen for the peace.